ki khubor ka Batisi TV lawan ra shapi da ka Orange Nissan Loom so pho near Fire Brigade Shillong
Rengkat lang bat kepertai hi baro kawai ka office jong State Project Director ka State Education Mission Authority of Meghalaya Shillong rengkat ka jingetrai lang bat ka Meghalaya Bharat Scouts and Guides Shillong headquarter ha ka pratri gubna nailor arajar arpuwai kala rakhe ya ka sngi ka thok ka tar lane ka literacy day arajar arpuwai ha ka jingelang ka balalong ha auditorium hall jong ka Meghalaya Bharat Scouts and Guides headquarter Shillong Hagani gasni uba Donald P. Walang ubadayu Additional Chief Secretary jong ka Sarkar Jylla ulalong kumukongsan harengkat ka jing sakhilang jong Ambrose C.H. Marak ubadayu Secretary jong ka Tanat Puli Puthi ka Sarkar Jylla but ubalong ru State Project Director jong ka SESAM SSA nang tadi ka kong Swear ka badai ka Secretary jong ka Meghalaya Bharat Scouts and Guides Shillong but kiway Kapang pedeng ha kajing rakhe ka World Literacy Day mentau snem arajar arpuwai kalong halor kini ki kentin ki baong Literacy for a Human Centered Recovery Narrowing the Digital Divide Hagani ka jingyelang UTTM sangma ubadayu Special Officer na Meghalaya State Legal Service Authority ula ajing keren ka babnya abha halor ka free and compulsory education ya ka bala proidak katkum ka Right to Education Act arajar khandai But ya ka jing pensyai pa ba halor ka jingta jong duma ya ki khna school la ai jingkren da ka Dr. Lana L Nongbri ka badai ka State Nodal Officer Tobacco Cell jong ka tanat ka koj ka khia
All aspects of our lives have changed. I'm sure all of you have been touched in different ways or have been affected in different ways and you have had to make certain changes in your life. It would be a grave mistake, I can say, that if you believe that we can conform to the anachronistic concepts of education and be encumbered or be entangled in the rigmarole that we believe that that education has to be a certain way or it is set in stone that education has to be imparted in a certain way. Education is a very important concept and you can see it in various parts of the Constitution. As you all aware that we have the fundamental rights, then we have the fundamental duties, we have the Directive Principles of State Policy. Article 21A talks about the right to education. Education is enshrined in the Constitution as a fundamental right and it is enforceable in the court of law. So we as on part of the Legal Service Authority have a mandate under the Directive Principles of State Policy under Article 39A of the Constitution to impart legal education and to also make justice accessible to all. So the Supreme Court and the National Legal Service Authority have devised ways for all the state legal service authorities and the district legal service authorities to create awareness through these kind of programs or in collaboration with various departments. The Rte Act of 2009 was sort of a modality for the realization of Article 21 of the Constitution. So and subsequently the amendment of 2019 has come about and I'll just touch upon the highlights of the right to education. We are all aware that free and compulsory education between the ages of 6 to 14 has been guaranteed to all the citizens of the country. Then we have, as per the Rte Act, benchmarks have been set in, as in the ratio of students, the quality and quantity of teachers that is supposed to be there, the number of working days that is supposed to be there. I'm sure the Education Department will be more in a better position to expound on that, the working modalities. And they have, special provisions have been made for special causes for people with different abilities, and that rules have been laid down, guidelines have been laid down regarding discrimination and harassment in schools. And education as a whole it's been an evolving concept. Earlier, education would be just to read a textbook and give you exams, but now it has been made more wholesome. You have extracurricular activities, you have project works, you have different methods of education. Other than that, even we have had the controversial topic of the detention. So it is a debatable concept whether to detain someone while going through the schools, whether it breeds complacency or whether it is that is not for us to say, that is for the lawmakers to say, but even that is one of the highlights of the right to education. We must abide by the Constitution and all the ideals that were set in the Constitution. So we have various ideals of the of the freedom fighters, of the people who have framed the constitution. So it is our duty to abide by them, to cherish the noble ideas of our national struggle, to promote brotherhood. As we can see these days, we have some issues based on certain lines. We have, so to say, certain discriminations, but we need to rise above that. And we need to protect the environment. Environment is a very relevant issue of these days. And then we have, I would like to touch upon this, on to develop scientific temper, humanism, and spirit of inquiry and reform. I think this touches upon the concept of education. Unless you are educated, unless you learn, you strive to learn, unless you strive towards excellence, you would never develop a scientific temper and the spirit of humanism and spirit of inquiry. Education is basically your spirit of inquiry. You want to learn something, you want to always improve yourself. It is our fundamental duty to do that. So it is very important for us to always be inquisitive about things, to ask not only our subordinates, but also ask the government, ask the various wings of the government, what is their duty, are they fulfilling the duty? Sub-article K, that for every parent or guardian or a ward, that you shall ensure that your child is educated. And this is a fundamental duty which is thrust upon all of us. So I would encourage all of you to always be reminded of your fundamental duties, while obviously asking for your rights, that we need to balance that, giving to the state what we can do.
Started in 1966 as declared by UNESCO and celebrated for the first time in 1967. So every year we have been celebrating. The whole idea and the whole objective of this day is to raise awareness about the importance of literacy as a matter of dignity and human rights. This is the main objective of observing the World Literacy Day. The aim is to make sure that we have a more literate and sustainable society by advancing literacy. How do we advance literacy? By imparting education to all those who are within the purview of getting educated, and also, as we have seen, to bring those who are out of schools and out of institutions, who are out of the system, to mainstream them and to bring them back to the educational system. Now the theme in this year is very important and very eye-catching. The theme of the World Literacy Day this year is Human-Centered Recovery to Narrow the Digital Divide. Recovery from what is the first question. Recovery from the impact the pandemic had in the last 2 years on the educational system. So how do we recover? We can recover, of course, by what we are resorting to, that is using technology. That is the most effective way. But to have a proficient and an optimal solution to this, we need digital inclusion. Now, are all the students covered digitally? That's the first question. But a random sampled survey made through telephone calls, made through conversations across the state will tell us that digital inclusion is still a dream. In fact, in the urban areas, only between 50 to 60% of the students have been able to access the classes, whether it's classroom learning or digital contents or using other tools like WhatsApp or Google Classrooms. Only between 50 to 60% in urban areas. In rural areas, only between 20 to 25% have been able to access, and that too, we are talking about upper primary section upwards. That is class 5 upwards, class 6 upwards, sorry. Talking about class 1 to class 5, especially in the rural areas, I can tell you that the situation is not very pleasing. That is the reason why we decided very quickly that schools should be started in the state. Amidst the pandemic, we still have a high positivity rate, but we had to take a call because of this challenge of digital inclusion, or rather digital exclusion. We found out in the survey that there is a huge gap between urban and rural areas. Now, looking at the theme, we can say surely yes, digital literacy is nothing but a huge disruptive technology. Disruptive in the sense that it's something new, something which is unthinkable maybe a few years back, but bring changes in the processes with a positive impact. If we were digitally included in the whole state, yes, it would bring a huge positive impact. But because of the huge gap, we are suffering, the students are suffering, therefore we have to move ahead and start classes early. We have not even changed the syllabus, we have not truncated the syllabus this year because we are going to extend the academic calendar. Because what we have learned from last year after truncating the syllabus, that the process of learning also got impacted. For example, if there are 5 chapters and we have continued with chapter 1, chapter 3 and chapter 5, missing chapter 2 and 4, in many cases that level of continuity is not there anymore, and therefore it impacts the learning process of the student. Therefore, we have decided this year, let's see, we will try to go with the whole syllabus. We will increase the academic calendar, we'll extend the academic calendar beyond December, which we had announced initially, and with the hope that it will bring some positive change, positive impact on the students, and there won't be any gaps in their learning. Now, what is the biggest challenge in the state of Meghalaya today? If you look at the NAS report, that is National Assessment Survey report, which they conduct at 3 levels to see how much the students have learned, we have found that as far as English is concerned, as far as social science is concerned, we are doing okay compared to the national average. When it comes to science and maths, we are below the national average. And the worst thing is that our foundations are very, very poor in the schools. Therefore, Government of India has noted that there is a basic flaw in the learning system. And foundation is poor not only in Meghalaya, but it's poor throughout the country. Therefore, focus now will shift to foundational learning and numeracy. A new mission is going to start, FLN mission, Foundational Learning and Numeracy Mission, under the overall umbrella of SSA, to focus and concentrate more on the foundation that is given up to class 3 for the students throughout the country. And I hope that with technology, the process of digital inclusion will also improve in the future days. Telecom companies are coming forward. In fact, I learned that Honorable Chief Minister was in Delhi yesterday and had a number of meetings with telecom companies also to set up additional towers so that the signal reaches far-flung areas and reaches what we call as the last mile, to ensure last mile connectivity. Once last mile connectivity is assured, then digital education also, the whole idea will be done, and access to digital education also can easily be made in the rural areas.
So this is something that we are really working very hard on, and we would like to be very aggressive in our approach towards this.
Due to the lockdown caused by the pandemic, we were not able to attend offline classes. In spite of this hardship, PCC school did not leave us students without doing anything. Online classes was done through WhatsApp and Google Classroom. Three subjects a day were given to us.
The weekly online assembly was also conducted by the different classes under the leadership of our class teacher to give us the chance to express ourselves and get connect to our teachers and friends on every Monday in order to follow up and guide us in our studies. Different teachers called us up to keep us learning and not ignore our studies. Online tests and projects were allowed to us.
Wala dangin yola benle school nakada jangkane ke jingkhandam nama kaklam ko kakhandai. Nila yola bempeteng ya ki jingkule jingi lingba ka online class. Hindrai wala kataru ni shem jing nakada ba kato kane nangi nimda smartphone ne nim yo network ba. Sakawai ru nimla ban yo jing batai babnya naki nang hikai kemba julam ha kamera kelas. Kebetulan.
Kublai pi barak kakerteng jangan kadai ambalang majau masa apa mau beli blok F kakerteng ke sekolah jangan kadai mau beli di Afhom ban nga sedang sekolah duk sekolah buji menstem ban sekolah ni yok jing kai ban pra boleh ban ni dan ka jing kai duk kikot kisla ni yok lingba ka jing Arab laka SSA ban ni ai kublai ya ka SSA kabala yarab yangi haka pule puthi jungi kublai
मेरा नाम है प्रेम शर्मा मैं अंबर कसर स्कूल जाता हूँ SSA को मैं थैंक यू कहना चाहता हूँ क्योंकि वो हमें किताब दिए हैं और वो स्कूल में हमें बहुत खेलने मज़ा भी आते हैं इसलिए SSA को हम थैंक यू कहना चाहते हैं
Kakateng jangan subahanika lorong ngapuli haka out of school mau sebut yok bun kicing mentai timba kane ke school lada ngim yok syu pan puli hendrai timba kane ke school naik limba kane ke school ngim yok lat bangin puli bian yok ru kikot kicing yarap naka SSA reshibu.
I am Rico Stenwarmalai from Rilang Children's Home, and I've been staying here in Rilang Children's Home for almost 10 years till now, and I felt that this is my home, and I thank Rilang for taking care of me for so long and provide me with education. And also I would like to thank the SSA, as we all know what is it, and I thank them especially because of them we can get the opportunity to study. With their help, we are able to learn, to think, to question, to answer, to come forward with the knowledge that we have learned and compete with others. As we can see that in today's world, the world is very competitive, and so we are able to come forward to the competitive world. We are now able to know how the world looks like and how does it work, who is in it, and so on and so forth, which before we never knew of. And also through education, we can say that we can live an easy life in the future, and we can make a living out of it in the society. Once again, thank you.
Blay nga kerteng udamian remon rentetiang nga puli ka class 6 wat ngasa apo Rilang Children's Home ngasungu ya ka SSA out of school children kabla ajing hikai bat ka jing start ingi bangin bat kalat bangin puli bat porbang nang dan nang amnang nadu buan hane layo kijing start bat dakat ni kajing erap jongka out of school children but ngasunguru ikinong hikai kibala ai la nikai ngi lingba ki subject baper kum ka English ka science but ka maths but ki subject ngapuli but ki perlok ki basa ane harilang but ki kena kibala sa lang nga bat puli lang nga ngas ay kublay si hajar ngu yaka out SSE under out of school children kublay si bun.
When it comes to tobacco use for children between the age of 13 to 15, Meghalaya is 4th and Mizoram is 1st, 2nd by Arunachal, 3rd by Nagaland and 4th is Meghalaya. And the state which is the lowest is Himachal Pradesh. So and because of this, the ministry has provided us with the tobacco-free educational institution guidelines, a revised one. And we are working very hard, and I thank you, Sir Ambrose, for being the biggest support and the biggest backbone in helping the health department. And we are working hand in glove, sir, with the education department.
Secondly, I wish the institution program a success.